All right. Hey guys, this is the pre-show. Nate and I saw some of you guys waiting, so we decided we'd pop in and talk to you.
Yeah.
Since this is maybe the first time in quite a while
that we've been
that we're ready
and on time.
A few minutes early as opposed to a few minutes late. So here you can have your...
It feels good.
Just yours? There you go.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Feels good.
Yeah, so we don't have any agenda for the next 4 minutes. So have at it. You know, let us know what we should talk about. I will say this is very, I even have my smoothie. I got Nate one.
I got a little smoothie.
Yeah.
I've purposely not tried it yet because I want to see.
Oh God. Do you know this term, lifting a good gift horse in the mouth?
Oh no!
Yeah?
I wanted to see if I could pick up any flavors in here and see what I got.
You use the garlic knife when you cut the celery. Yeah. What do you think?
I get a little garlic, but not that much. No, I'm kidding. I don't even know. This is good. So I've got. What's the color come from?
The beets.
Is it beets?
And
okay, it is beets. So I've got that.
Beets are like my
beets.
new regular ever since we had Elise on. I will say I'm wanting to do this savory granola trail mix recipe.
Yeah.
That I bought all the stuff for last night, and then I just went and looked at it right now, and it was like a 35-minute bake in the oven.
Yeah.
We would be late. We'd be late. So I'll get that for you guys next time.
So there's a little brightness in here. Is there a little citrus or something? Or no? What else we got in here? Any berries?
There's blueberries. There's all the superfood things, which is like hemp hearts and there's half a banana in there.
Tasting me some hemp hearts.
There is cacao nibs. There's peanut butter.
Oh dang! Okay.
There is some MCT oil. There is an expensive smoothie you got there. There's kale. Let's see, what else do we have in there?
Yeah. Was the kale massaged?
What's that kind of like protein powder? It's not protein, but glucosamine powder.
Okay.
And then some Amazing Foods Super Greens.
The Super Greens.
Protein powder.
Damn.
Yeah.
All that is in here?
Uh-huh. I'm missing some things too. I just dumped things in at the last second.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah, it is. It's very tasty.
Gita came out and says that those are the ingredients. Kelly Olson, hello. How are you?
Cheers.
Cheers. I like this. I feel like the pre-show is kind of a calm.
It's a nice way to start.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll
it's
a nice way to start on our Thursdays.
We'll do this every time that we're ready early. How's that? So we'll see you next year.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Melissa, what's up? So this is fun. Lizzie, Kelly, and Melissa are all in the training club. Freddie
says the color looks a little funky. Turn your monitor, there's something wrong with your monitor. That's what I say.
It's the color it's supposed to be. So
it's the color of health and the color of functioning health in a cup. Yeah, I like that.
So Kelly, Melissa, and Lizzie are all in the training club.
Oh, fantastic!
And right now, I know specifically Kelly and Melissa are going at it in the lap challenge.
Oh, I like it. Okay, well done.
Yeah, we are in week 2.
I've been running a good amount.
Yeah.
Ever since I don't know. It really honestly what kickstarted is you put Nora at my house, and I was like, I gotta go running every day for 10 days, which I've been running for a while now, but 10 days without missing a day. I usually take days off, or I go do strength training or do something else. And there I had to add stuff on, so I've been getting about 1 yoga class in a week.
That's good.
I'm still trying to. I really wanted to be able to do a handstand. Where you put.
Yeah.
Not just a handstand. I can do a handstand. I want to be able to put my hands on the floor.
Yeah. And then kind of
hold
press
them there
up into a handstand.
And then have the rest of my body just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Lever up that way.
If I could do
as opposed to the kick up.
Yes. No kick up. I just want it to be I want to be able to do whatever you call a clothesline. Reverse pike.
I think they might call that a press to handstand or something, or pike. What is it called?
Yeah, it's a press to handstand, but I've seen people who literally they push their.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when you go down and touch your hands on the floor and then you stand up and go like this, except their hands are on the floor and their feet are doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm nah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm kind of inspired to do a little yoga. I would love to find a session just to do each week.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I kind of do stuff on my own.
Problem.
It isn't,
Yeah.
What do we got here? So Edward says hello. Kelly says loving the challenge.
It is 12 o'clock. Okay, we're gonna run the the video while we just figure out what we're gonna do with our like live guests. Give me 1 second, then we'll go.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, hang on.
My name is Denise Franton. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I actually want to do a sub 2 hour half marathon. I was reading training books and trying to figure out how to put together a training plan, and I saw the run experience and I signed up, and it was great. It's perfect. I like that there were videos. So the demonstration videos were really helpful, and I had seen some before, but I liked that it was put into plans. And there were lots of plans. There's a 5K plan, there's a strength plan, there's a running efficiency plan, there's a half marathon, a marathon plan, and they seemed like they all went together. And so I liked that it felt like comprehensive. So I really liked that you could get everything all in one place. I think the major difference is this is more personalized. So when I have a question, I actually get my questions answered, and they're answered right away. And that's really helpful because now as I'm starting to get more serious into my training, like I'm noticing little quirks with my body, like, okay, this left hip is tight. How do I work on that? Oh, here's mobility exercises to help with that. Oh, I'm not sure how many calories I should eat. Oh, talk to Elizabeth, so it feels more supportive by having, like, if I have a question about something, I can get my question answered. If you want to get stronger, you have to do strength. And running will only take you so far. When I did a half marathon this year and I was at 2:07, so I think, and that was just with only running, not doing any other type of like specific running workouts. Like I didn't do any speed work, I just ran. I ran 4 or 5 days a week and just built up my mileage and did that. So now like adding some strength.
Alrighty. Guys, I hope you joined us for the pre-show. That was the first pre-show ever in TRE live show history, which is now a good year and a half.
Yeah, it was. So
guys, I also want to just give a shout out to you guys. I don't know how many of you joined us for the Sunday live stream
of the New York City Marathon.
We had 1,200 people on at the same time for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
This man, I will say, did 95% of the heavy lifting. So cheers to you, man. That was pretty great.
I appreciate that.
You really set it up, knocked it down, and I think we have like 50,000 people that have seen that live stream of the New York Marathon. It was really fun.
Yeah.
We got to like, people were like calling it, not just like saying, hey, this person's coming, they're about a half mile away, this is what they're wearing, this is what their number is, and we would see them and cheer for them. It was great. It was really awesome.
It was really cool because we started filming the elite field going through, and I could see the audience picking up. But then after the elite field went through and we were starting to watch everyone else, that's when you guys all really cared and wanted to care more about like each other. You were watching your friends, family, and we kind of got to cheer people on. So that was really fun.
And the thing about a marathon like the New York Marathon is it's not like the Olympic marathon, right? Where you only have elite runners running.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the race is about people like you and people like us who are running to like accomplish something for themselves. It's not about the elite runners. And I think the coverage that is usually given on TV is so much so like toward this was happening with the elites, which is great, right? I mean, they definitely deserve that accolade and that time and attention. But I really enjoyed having just like watching all the real runners. I mean, people who were doing their first marathon, people who were trying to break 3 hours for the first time, people trying to make the 3:30 like women's cut. We saw a huge crowd trying to make the 3:30 women's cut for Boston. It was awesome.
It was cool. Our only regret there is that we had to catch a flight, and we couldn't have stayed on for longer.
Yeah, because
we really could have.
We could have easily gone for another hour and a half. Yeah. In fact, we were on the flight. Were we on the flight like maybe at 6 p.m. and there were still people running. Yeah. Right? Because the New York Marathon is unique in that it does not have a cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what a day. Like, you couldn't have had a better fall day. We had like some up and down weather the previous days in New York, but then you had this like clear, crisp, like mid to upper 50s, bright and sunny, no wind.
Yep.
And I think it reflected in people's race times, but such a contrast from Boston.
I mean, I didn't get to see Boston, of which I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
But man, it was beautiful weather. It was perfect. It was really that day. Yeah.
So we've been talking about what other marathons we should go to next year.
Yeah.
And we've been thinking about going across the pond, as they say, to Europe. And what do you guys think? Should we go to London? Should we go to Berlin? Type that in the comments.
Do you know what the cutoff is for men for the global entry for Berlin? 2:45.
Whoa.
Yeah. If you want a guaranteed entry in Berlin, you got to hit 2:45.
No kidding.
Yep. The thing about, I mean, going to races, like we get to meet you guys, we get to do some footage and stuff. The thing I don't like about it is that I tell everybody, oh, I was in New York last week. Oh, what were you in New York for? I was in there for the marathon. Like, oh wow, how'd you do? I'm like, I didn't run it.
We were there to support others.
I had a different type of marathon that I had to do.
Yeah.
Which I feel good about, except for when I have to explain to other people. They're like, oh, I thought, but you run a lot, right? I'm like, yeah, no, I run. I didn't run that one, okay? Just leave me alone. And the last time I went there, nobody came to watch me,
So the last couple of years, we've had a run project, like ourselves.
Yes.
Like you guys have run goals, we have them as well. And 2 years ago we ran the 50K North Face, or a year ago we ran the North Face 50K.
Yep.
This year we focused on the San Francisco Half Marathon.
Yep.
We got to decide what we're going to do next year.
I'm kind of partial to doing a 5K.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not just like we can do a 5K tomorrow if we wanted to, but I mean, like,
going after it.
Yeah. Like, I have been running, and I'm like,
maybe we can follow our new 5K program.
Yeah, I feel like my gear right now is stuck in I'm stuck in second gear.
And steady.
Yeah, like I'm beyond the trudging that we did last year for all those miles, but I will, on my good days, I'll clip away at like 6:40 to a minute to 7.
Listen to this guy. I feel slow in my 6:40 to 7 minute mile.
I don't when I look at like how often I'm stopping, and then it's actually like average is not very quick at all. And I was like, man, I still feel like I have, legs for it. I've cut down a little bit of weight since I got off the sugar. So I'm now at like 182. Oh yeah,
it's looking slim over here.
Looking slimmer. I was really
just ahead of the holidays, right? Just ahead of the holidays.
It's a challenge. The no sugar thing is just really where it's at.
Yeah.
But I feel so much better when I'm running at versus when I'm at like 195. It's really hard to lug that weight around and feel
I don't know if I've ever weighed 195.
Thank you.
I didn't mean it that way. You wear it well.
That's good. I like that.
No, whatever, dude. You're all ripped and shredded, man. And I can't. I would have loved to have met in super skinny Craig. I don't know there.
Let's be honest, nobody liked that guy.
No.
Super skinny Craig and super fun to be around. Like, women didn't really want to go out on dates with me. They're like, yeah, it's like all bones. Like, what do I want?
Oh my God. Dude, I was like just a hair over 150 as like a senior in college at one point. And I remember bike riding, and I remember borrowing a pair of bike shorts, or normal pair of mediums. And like the bike shorts were flapping on my thigh. Like my quads weren't tight enough
so bad.
to go around.
The compression shorts couldn't compress enough.
I know. I since haven't had that problem.
In college, there was this ongoing joke. I had a girlfriend all through college, and I would frequently just like, we'd be like laying on the couch watching a movie, or just laying on the couch talking, and I would just fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like, I was running 90 miles a week, and I was like fairly narcoleptic. Just
man.
Anytime I was in even like a slightly reclined position, I'd be out in the middle of a conversation. Yeah.
So should we talk about today's show a little bit?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So we got 70 of you on right now, which is fantastic. We've just been kind of shooting the breeze, getting caught up on our New York City trip last weekend.
Yeah.
But we have Devon Yanko on, who is like really, she's kind of done it all.
Yep.
Right? But she is, mostly now a professional ultra runner. She has run several ultra runs on the road for you guys in South Africa. She has done Comrades. She has done the Two Oceans Marathon. She has raced Western States.
Right.
She's gotten third there.
Oh, really?
Pretty nuts. Yeah, pretty
That
good.
is amazing. I was looking at her rap sheet, and I was like, man, She won all these races. I was like, Nate, did she won all these races? Holy cow!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like
all the local marathons.
She has a 2:38 marathon PR, so she made it to the marathon trials in 2012, which was pretty exciting.
And what is amazing about that is, well, one is that she was not initially a runner; she was a basketball player all through high school and college. Mm-hmm. And then her first marathon, which is pretty good. She went 3:38, which is a good race.
First race.
But also, there are a lot of people that run that and qualify for Boston. And actually, right now, that's not even the guaranteed qualifier for Boston.
Yeah.
Right? And then she dropped it from a 3:38 to a 3:08, which is very stout. And then to go from there, those are not linear distances.
No.
Like going from a 3:38 to a 3:08 is difficult. Going from a 3:08 to a 2:38
is insane.
You're not the same runner or the same person or the same athlete. You're a completely different type of person.
Yeah. So it'll be super fun to have her on. She has an incredible bakery up in my neck of the woods.
Yes, I love that place.
So fun. So it'll be fun to pick her brain on the bakery, on cooking bread. They crush sourdough. So good. You've had it. It's one of your favorite ones.
It's one of my favorite bakeries, for sure.
And he even know that, so surprise thing for Craig there. So we'll have Devon on, and we'll give her a call in, 6-7 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But we do have a giveaway as well, per usual. Devon is a fun, wacky personality. You guys will really enjoy her, and we thought that we should give a pair of fun, appropriately sunglasses as well. So we're giving away 2 pairs of the Gooders.
We gave away some Gooders last week on our live stream as well, and we like them. They sent us a bunch of pairs, and they're really funky colors. So, in fact, I'm going to be using one of them for a costume I'm going to be putting on this weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? What's the costume for this weekend?
It's a weird party that I got invited to, where it's kind of like a wedding.
Is there any code for a weird party in San Francisco?
Oh, hold on, I'll show you. This. I've never received one of these before. This is the invite. It's called the Met Galactica. This is just at a friend's house. It looks like a wedding invitation.
It really does.
What do we
got going on?
It says, walking the red carpet at the Met Galactica is a dream that few get to realize. Please arrive decked out in your best black tie or haute couture. I don't even know what those 2 words mean. But there's a whole backstory about in 1977, humanity cast a Voyager 1 as a bottle rocket into the cosmic ocean. And it goes on forever. It's just a whole made-up story. The party will go into the night. There'll be tasty food and great drink. I'm so excited, and I don't even know why we're at the party. I got this thing from a friend of mine. I'm like, I'm gonna be there.
Well, you
should see my outfit.
I'm very excited to see it.
I'll show you guys pictures next week.
We on Saturday are hosting a pork shoulder cook-off.
Oh yeah, I didn't get invited to that party.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with a set of friends that just don't mix well. It's like a group from this
with
gym.
Everybody.
You do
what
mix
are you
with
talking
everyone.
About?
They don't mix well. It's their issue.
Oh.
It's like that's one of the things. So I love those guys, but they like to do their thing. And you guys may have your friends too, right? Like, let's say you have like your runner club.
They are listening to this right now.
I know, they really are. Hi guys, see you Saturday. But like, you don't want to invite your non-runner friend to like your run club party. Everyone's like geeking on run things.
Is this a running party?
It's like a CrossFit thing. You do CrossFit.
Apparently not enough. Apparently I need to bro it out a little bit more in the gym.
Oh, man.
Do some more pumping before I get invited to the... It's okay, cool, man. I have a party that I'm going to too, so like whatever about your party.
Hey, we got your things.
Let's just... Okay, next week, you take some pictures of your party. I'll take some pictures of my party.
Yeah.
Nate always says that I invite him to weird things. I will say this is one of the weirder things.
Yeah, that's good.
It's going to be...
That's what I love about you, Craig.
Yep.
So let's get a few comments in here. So Kelly says, Gooder are the best running glasses. Rachel, love Gooder. Lizzie says, I love Devon. Really excited over here.
We got a lot of comments here. Holy cow.
Yeah, we got
a
bunch.
Backed up here. It's only a TRE live show when the smoothies come out.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Troy says, having New York City Marathon withdrawal, signed up for the Chicago Marathon Lottery. That's exciting, Troy.
Okay.
And we got to meet Troy.
That's right.
In New York.
So,
it's so fun.
One of the things that I wanted to do, we'll just at the end of the show, is I want to go through all the people that we met in person and like some of their time results. We had some people that actually did really good races. So it was a beautiful day. Troy, I will specifically call out, is that he came to our gathering, and the reason this was special is because there are a few people that have been with us since, like, you know, before there was a training club. I think even before there was a marathon program.
Yeah.
Like some of our very earliest supporters, and have been part of the TRE community. And Troy has not only been a part, but he's been like active in the community.
Yeah.
And so seeing him in person and
Central
being
Park.
around for his first marathon ever, which he said he loved, hit his goals, and is going to be doing another one. So it was really, really awesome.
Troy.
Yeah.
So fun.
Thumbs up, buddy. Yeah, it was really cool to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, we were I was hosting a little mini workout and warm up for everyone, so Troy couldn't get a chance to connect as much as I would have liked, but we're so glad you got to
I got most
by.
of our time. I videotaped it, so.
Oh, good. Oh, man. Oh, Fast Foodie says, I'll be running London and Berlin next year.
Great.
I think that is Devon. I don't know if Devon is on. I know Fast Foodie is her name on Instagram.
Oh, really?
On the gram. If she's on the YouTubes as well.
The icon's a little small.
Shayna says, come back to Chicago. I'll be running my first marathon in 2019. You know, we had so much fun in Chicago. We will definitely be back for that.
Nice.
David says, I watched the live stream Sunday while on the treadmill. It was awesome.
Oh, great.
I wonder if a lot of people watch that way. You know, who are like running or racing. Good kind of motivation. That's pretty cool. Edward said he earned his smoothie today. Yeah, you guys are great. Let's.
Speaking of running treadmill, we're gonna call her in just a couple of minutes, but we have been looking at doing follow along workouts. So if you notice on our YouTube channel, we have some follow along strength workouts. We have some treadmill workouts. Obviously not running workouts because for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But we are interested in doing more.
Yes. And specifically.
You talking about the audio?
Mm-hmm. Or no, well, that, but the which direction are you going with this?
I was just gonna ask questions, but what was your?
I want to ask about the live as well.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so Nate's idea is that we have a live workout. Now you have to understand this is it's an embryonic idea at this point. It's just being born. We don't know if it's a viable ideas yet.
Doesn't have a sea legs yet.
Yeah, it doesn't. But Nate wants to do a live workout, maybe a mobility workout that is something that comes on every week, kind of like a live show. But it'll be short. It'll be like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
for those of you guys who are there, you could tune in and do it with us.
Already.
I know, right?
It's gonna be a boy. And yeah, so I think it's a cool idea. I think it's going to take a little bit of work to see how that actually, pans out. But it's kind of cool because you get to do it with, there'll be interaction like this. And I don't know, it's a good idea. I think that I'm still coming around to how we can fit it in. We have a lot of things that we're doing at this point. I like the idea of follow-along workouts. Obviously, running does not lend to them the same way that you can do other types of like boot camp workouts or P90X type of things. But strength workouts are cool. We've been putting those on our channel. I would love to hear of the things that you guys do with this, what would be useful.
Yeah.
I think that, offering a live mobility thing to our training club members would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, guys, so happy to hear your comments. Chime in.
Just drop those down below. We've also been kicking around the idea of audio-based workouts.
Yep.
We could take this show and record it as a podcast.
Right.
Is this something that you guys would be down to listen to while you're running? Should we start a podcast? Should we convert this? These are all ideas that we're thinking about.
Yeah, Edward says you could do live treadmill group workouts on YouTube. The thing that it's a good idea.
Yeah.
The thing about having a live workout is that we kind of want something where people can do it anywhere they are because it's live, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to saying, hey, not only is it you have to tune in live, you also have to be on a treadmill. So yeah, there's other ideas around follow-along workouts for treadmills for sure.
Yeah. I really like the idea of starting with mobility because I think that is such a cornerstone of our philosophy in the run experience.
I like it.
And I think we can out-mobilize most people out there.
Yeah, I like that.
Just saying.
Well done, Nate. I was going to say something that was even a little bit more under the tape, but you just right there. Yeah, sweet. Cool. Let's talk to Dan. Devon.
Let's get Devon on the line.
All right, sweet. We're gonna do this. You guys ready?
David says podcast.
That is a That's coming.
Lizzie says, yes, live workouts on YouTube. Yes, exactly. Aaron says, yes, for live workouts. Podcasts are great.
Sweet.
Good.
Let's see. There we go.
Hi.
Hey, Devin. All right, I'm just going to knock this thing out.
Let's make volume is good over
Volume's
here and
good,
here.
Yeah. All right, we can hear you.
All right. Well, welcome, Devin. Welcome to the show. Did we just get really loud?
How are you? Yeah, no, you started breaking up, but you're fine now.
Oh, yeah. No worries,
Gotcha.
no worries. So, first of all, welcome to the show. We have given people a little bit of background of your rap sheet. We probably should have done that while you were on. But we enjoyed talking about you when you weren't around.
I heard
really
you. I heard you.
Yeah, okay, good.
I don't know if I can live up to my wacky introduction.
Yeah, I was expecting like purple and green hair today, and then something else tomorrow.
I did have pink hair this year.
There you go. So I selfishly want to start this out talking about your bakery.
Okay.
Is that cool? Can we do that?
Yeah.
So I was introduced to M&H Bakery through Shed, which is possibly my favorite restaurant just in the area.
Which, for
generally.
reference, for those of you guys, is this like very
Farm to table type of
hipstery
thing.
farm to table restaurant up in Healdsburg,
yeah.
up in Sonoma, where they have
Close-
things
it's in
like
wine country, yeah.
go to the larder to get things. Like anytime you go to a restaurant where there's like a larder, you're like, okay.
It's pretty cool. Basically, their restaurant is like what I dream my kitchen would be like if I was more skilled and had lots more time.
Yeah.
And a
Mostly
lot
the
more
more,
money.
yeah, that's true. All those things. So the main thing that is lacking right now is actually all three of those things are lacking. Anyhow, so they had this amazing bread, and then I specifically remember we went to July 4th together. We went camping, and we grabbed a big loaf of their bread, and we got some like eggplant.
But you didn't really know what it was.
No,
You
I
were
didn't
just
know.
like, I'm just grabbing this delicious bread.
It's like a big loaf of bread, like cool.
That is at this cool restaurant, and all their food's delicious, so I trust it. And it happens to be MH bread and butter bread.
I remember
which is
because
Devon's.
you guys had just started baking bread,
Yeah.
and we sat outside and like ripped off a hunk of this thing, and we're like, that is
This
some
is amazing.
serious crust game.
So-
and I was like, that is amazing.
So Devon, I think Craig's question is, did you personally need the loaf of bread that we ate on July
That's what I
4th of 2018?
I did not. I have plenty of employees now who do that. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Are you guys influenced? You must be influenced by Chad Robertson and the tartine loaf, and that is that because it feels like it has some of the elements of that.
My husband worked at Tartine for 8 years.
That makes sense.
If you read the Tartine bread book, most of those pictures are actually of Nathan,
Yeah.
not Chad.
Really?
You
That's
can tell
really
because
cool.
you can tell by the tattoos. So they
That's
look
cool.
very similar. So you could make it. But yeah, so Nathan was there. He did a lot of
Interesting.
Yeah.
testing for all the cookbooks.
Yeah. So Devin, can you set this up a little bit just for a crowd? Like what is tartine in San Francisco, and why is their bread such a big deal?
We promise this is related to running at some point, but right
Yes.
now we're just following your interest.
Fine. Well, Tartine was started by a couple, Chad and Liz. Ironically, Liz, like me, is also gluten intolerant. But they studied in France, and they found like the more traditional style of bread, just very labor intensive, slow fermented, which is actually, if you want to talk about health, is better for digestion, but it's
Yeah.
also amazing for flavor.
Right.
So it's just kind of, you look at what's on the market, and it's just kind of like the antithesis of that. Like, it's really not, you can't
Right.
mass produce it because every loaf is, made by hand, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of labor.
Yep.
And it's just, it's everything you want, like the flavor, the texture, and even the nutrition. I'm gluten intolerant, have been my whole life. But they actually did studies on this type of bread that it's actually digestible by even people with celiac. I mean,
Right.
that's not my study. But
Yeah.
they did this big study in Italy. So that's kind of cool. And to be making a product that tastes amazing, but also is kind of really different than what's out there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you guys who are listening and are not super familiar with bread making other than what you get at the store, like, traditional bread that you get from the grocery store has like dry yeast added to it. And this is what they call an active starter. So what you guys do at your house, where they, you literally start with just flour and water. Or do you put salt in initially as well?
The starter is just
flour and water.
Yeah. And I mean, we add salt in the bread, but
later on.
Yeah, and then the yeast, comes from like the bacteria comes from like the air and like the baker's hands, and then over the course of weeks you feed this thing and you get this live active starter that has been propagated. There's starters that been around for generations, and so it's just a magical process of like living, breathing organism turned something that's not edible, flour, into something that's very sustainable.
Now, Devon, I remember, you and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and I remember you telling me stories about when MHBB first started, and you didn't have a lot of employees, and you were also trying to run. So explain to us what that was like, what your work schedule and run schedule was like in that, kind of first year.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty ridiculous. Like, looking back now, I'm like, I don't even know how I did that and thought I could do that, because I would get up. Nathan would have to go in the middle of the night, like 12:30, to start the baguettes, because baguettes are made in a different process. So I would luxuriate until about 2:40 in the morning, and then I would run from our house to the bakery, because we only had one car. So I'd run 2.2 miles to get to work, and then, I mean, at that time, Nathan actually taught me how to bake, because bakers are the hardest kind of position to fill.
Right.
And so I was doing the bread with Nathan, and so we'd work from, everybody else comes in at 3 in terms of the bakers, and then we're usually done about 11. But when you're running your own business, like, I also did all of the business side of things.
Right.
And and we ended up stepping into a space that was a lot bigger than our original plan. Like, we were going to go in this like tiny little mom and pop shop, and we ended up taking over a bakery somebody else had built out that was a lot more like Tartine. It was like 3,000 square feet. We have a full cafe, like, cranking.
It's huge.
Like, it's huge. And we had started baking bread even before we opened for Shed and a couple other wholesale accounts. So it was, I mean, there were days where it was just literally like, start at 2:40, and then you're like, maybe I get to go to bed at 9 p.m. and maybe if you're lucky. And at the time, my best friend had moved down from Seattle to be our front of house manager. He now owns a running store in Ohio.
Oh wow!
But we would be like, all of us are runners, so we'd be like, okay, at like from like 11 to noon, let's have a meeting, and we would go trail running, and because we have trails, a mile away from the bakery, so it was a way of like sneaking it in. Over time, like, I was kind of like, I'll just be more moderate about my mileage. I mean, when I'm in high mileage training, I run over 100 miles a week, so I was like, I'll just run like 60 or 70 miles per week, and it was, I mean, like,
what time of day were you running, and were there any events that you remember preparing for at the time, that those early times of the bakery? And I sort of ask because so many runners now have difficult schedules, and they try to train for a marathon or half, and they have to do it at odd times. Like, you represent such the far extreme of that. So I think just people get a kick out of hearing that.
Well, it was funny because I was like, well, I can't necessarily do ultras while I'm doing this, just because the sheer amount of time that I would have to like take off to go to events. So I was like, it's cool, I'll just keep rolling on the marathon thing. I had come off running the trials in 12, and we opened in 2013, so I was kind of like into the marathon thing anyways. So I just was like, I'll just keep it rolling, and that's when I like ran San Francisco a bunch of times. I did a lot of the local stuff, because the way I saw it, I was like, like a morning off, right? So
right.
I would go run a marathon and be back to the bakery by like 11.
That's craziness.
Between when we opened in 2013 and when I stopped baking in the fall of 2015, I probably was still running like 6 or 7 marathons a year.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't like killing it in terms of my time, but I was still running like high 240s, low 250s.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's very, very impressive.
Yeah. Now, last weekend when we were in New York City, we got to sit in on an interview with Sarah Sellers, who kind of came out of nowhere this spring, was second place at Boston, still had a very great race in New York. I think she set a new PR from 244 to 236 or 7 or something like that. Yeah. And what was amazing with her was that she was a full-time nurse. She would work crazy hours and, run at the end of these incredibly long days. Devon, for you, especially the events you do, there's just so much like grit and tenacity and toughness required for those ultra runs.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your work schedule starting this bakery has helped contribute to your ability to kind of handle the training and the highs and lows when you're doing your 1,500-mile runs now?
Oh, definitely. In the fall of 2015, I had been working on that. We started doing wholesale pastry, and that was a night shift. So I switched from 3 a.m. to 11 a.m., and then I was going in at 6 p.m. and finishing at 2 a.m. And I did that for a year, 7 days a week, which was better for my running because I could run in the morning. But I decided... I went to South Africa to run Cape Town Marathon and Ultra Trail Cape Town.
I saw that, yeah.
And I had only been doing marathon training. And I showed up and I was like, sure, super technical mountain 100K in the rain. This sounds amazing. But I just got to a point where I was like, I've been working so hard for so long, like on my feet by myself in this kind of, for me, the mental space you occupy in an ultra is often harder. So it was like, this is a lot easier than like when midnight rolls around and you're talking to yourself. Yeah. And I came home from South Africa and I decided I hadn't been running 100-milers. I hadn't done one in like 7 years. And I was just like, I'm doing it. I had no training for it, like other than doing the 100K. And I signed up for Javelina. And the funniest thing was, like, at Javelina, because I had been on the night shift, when the sun started to go down after I'd been running for, 10 hours or something, I just got the biggest boost in energy because I was so used to my body being, like, on. And I was
that's funny.
It was like I had just...
You're like welcome home. This is like back to my normal day.
It's
just give me a baguette and give me some dark hours and I'm good to go.
Yep, exactly.
It's so evident to me, like, I mean, you have just like a kind of a tenacity towards the things that you approach, whether, I read about your running, you started your basketball career, and then, trying to get a scholarship for basketball, and then moving into running. And I was telling Nate, after we were talking about your bio, and I was like, it's amazing how much you take the, both like the kind of genetic gifts of an athlete and you take them from one sport to another and they still perform well, but also just the mentality of like, hey, I'm an athlete who knows how to work and have a singular focus on goals. And then you can point it at other things that are not athletics. And it's just, I think with you, it's just super apparent. And I guess, what I was wondering when we were talking is like, how does that sort of mentality around your work ethic and kind of the intensity at which you approach things, how does it show up in the rest of your life? Like outside of running and outside of, I don't know how much time there is outside of the Devons Bakery and running, but other pursuits or, just in your day-to-day life, like how does it show up and what do you think about that?
I mean, I definitely, it's funny, a lot of people think I'm type A, but I'm really not. But I do tend to, when I do something, I do it like fully. I'm not like a dabbler, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like a year, just before I did Leadville last year, I started going to a local CrossFit. Sorry, Nate.
No worries. It's got to be, hey, it's got to be easy and convenient. I always like that.
Exactly. So I started going to this CrossFit, and at first it was just like, oh, it's just a great way to kind of be accountable and do my strength work. But then I I have like a secret backyard layer now that's like I have a full rig in my backyard. I have
wow.
It's like I couldn't just do it 2 days a week. It was like I wanted to, when I saw that there was like all this room for potential to grow and to learn new skills and this kind of thing, I was just like, I'm all in. And so I think I tend to look at it like I have high self-efficacy. So it's like, yeah, I obviously have some genetic gifts. I have certain things, but it's like one of the things that's most important to me is my belief that I can become something. So like when I ran my first marathon, I was living overseas in London, and I didn't know it. Like I printed a schedule from Runner's World and, put it on my wall. But it was like, as soon as I crossed that finish line, I was like, I'd be curious to know what I could do if I did all these other things and learned more. So I kind of take that approach in everything. I mean, when we started the bakery, I had no experience in actual restaurants. I was a personal chef. I'd been a librarian, but I was like, I believe in my own ability to figure it out. And so I think that that's how that manifests in my life, is just like, I don't have to know the answer, but I don't generally approach things with the answer is you can't figure it out. I can figure it out.
Interesting.
Wow.
When did the ultra running come on your radar, right? Because we have a lot of runners who've done different distances. Some on our channel are running ultra runs right now, but I'm always fascinated when people move from thought one day, gee, wouldn't it be cool if I did this, versus I pressed the registration button and settled. Can you walk us through that first 100-mile run you signed up for?
Well, I basically just skipped over all the short distances. I did half marathon in 2003, my first full marathon in 2005, and my first 50K in 2006. Wow. I went for it. When you were talking earlier, the drop in from a 338 to 308 happened in 8 months.
Wow.
Incredible.
So once I did my first ultra at Edinburgh Marathon in June of 2005, and I did Headlands 50K in August of 2006.
Okay.
And so, I mean, for me, it was I saw the potential for myself to go down this path of getting time obsessed in the marathon, and I was like, wait, I really love this. And when I left basketball, I left it behind. People try to talk to me about basketball now, and I just give them this look, I don't know what you're talking about. And I didn't want that to happen. So when I started having success in the marathon, I saw that there was this potential trap at a certain point when I stopped getting faster to get really frustrated. And so I wanted to do something that was basically unquantifiable. Just because you run a 50K doesn't, my 50K times are somewhere between 3 hours and 20 minutes and 8 hours, right?
Depending on the terrain and the weather and everything else, right? It really varies.
Yeah.
Exactly. My fastest 100-mile time is 14:52, and my slowest is 21 hours, right?
Okay.
Yeah. What is the average pace for a 14-hour, 52-minute, 100-mile run?
8:40.
Wow. So just imagine that, guys, right? That's an 8:30 marathon is a 3:45, right? So you're running sub fours, right? That's 3:50.
The incredible thing about that is
so incredible.
Is that an 8:40 at that pace, it's not like you're running 8:40 like you're on the road. That's including things where you're seeing double-digit pace, 10-minute plus pace when you're going up stuff, and then you can't run a consistent 8:40 pace on those types of trails and those types of races. It's just unbelievable to sustain that for that long.
Yeah, so incredible.
Yeah.
What are you excited about right now? You've done all these different events. It seems like you're still kind of mixed in, obviously, in the trail running world. I think you actually dropped in the comments that you might be going back to some more road marathons the next year.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I did Western States. So I do this thing where I'm kind of I don't just pick one thing and then I'm like, I'm going to stick my flag in it and say that's all I do. I tend to do something until I feel like I have a level of, like, I've gone through the process of like trying to become something, and then when I kind of plateau, I'm like, maybe I should try something different. So last year I did Leadville, and I had a broken foot, so I had to have surgery after that.
What?
It's not my fault. It was misdiagnosed, but I had surgery, and I kind of came off of that like, okay, so I know I live at sea level. I can go to 10,000 feet and run 100 miles. Like, but can I go from that to running fast again? And so that's really kind of where I landed this year. Coming off of foot surgery this year has been, it's been a struggle. It just takes time.
Yeah.
But next year I'm actually I'm going after a marathon PR. So that's really exciting to me.
Checking your Strava just the last couple of weeks, it looks like you're in the 50 to 80 mile range, so you're definitely not slouching it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's funny. My coach is like definitely like pulling the reins back. He's like, you can cross train as much as you want, but we're going to keep the mileage low so that you can actually run fast, because I'm coming into this training block with plenty of endurance. But we're doing, like, for me, the hardest thing is like I had to do 200s and 400s on Tuesday, and I'm like going to the track like I'm terrified. I don't know how to run that fast.
Right.
So it's a change in that regard. So it's more rest. So like last week I think I did 80 miles, but I also swam twice, did 2 CrossFit workouts, rode my bike 3 times, and my mileage will go up. It's just really focusing on doing the fast work really well rested. So that I can actually get to those paces that are going to be more in line with what I should be running to run as fast as I would like to.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, speaking a little bit of kind of strength and mobility and everything else, and, for us, like, look, I'm a CrossFit coach. Devon and I kind of met that way. We don't really fly the CrossFit flag too hard on our channel, and it's just really like, we don't have to say CrossFit. We can say squatting and push-ups and pull-ups and lunges, and having better range of motion and athletic ability, right? And sort of leave it at that. What have you found has been your sweet spot with that strength and mobility work, with your running and all the miles that you're doing, right? Because that's a question we get all the time. Runners struggle with this. I actually find that the more elite runner they are, sometimes the worse they are at incorporating this stuff into their thing. And I'm sure you can see that not only just being in that world, maybe your training partners, but like, how have you settled on the mix of running to strength training that you have?
Yeah, one of the things that I found, like, when I really got into CrossFit was really having to be conscientious of learning what the effect on my body was, because it's like easy for me to be like, I run X miles, I know what that feels like, but all the cross training stuff, it was a lot of trial and error. But now what I've found is I have a class that I like to go to, and I go twice a week to CrossFit, and I try to stack it after my hardest workouts so that, it's like I'm kind of setting myself up for a hard day. But as I mentioned, I have my, secret lair in the backyard. I am incorporating more stuff on a day-to-day basis, and I just made it so stupid easy that it's like, I can be like, oh, I should do core work, and I'm like, I literally can't not. Like, it's literally like rolling off the couch to do it. So I probably do supplemental work, like things that are going to help me when I do go to CrossFit, like doing pull-ups every day, even if it's banded pull-ups, doing push-ups, doing core work, like moving through. Like, the big thing for me was I also took a dedicated period of time this summer to do a program called Training IQ, and so I specifically worked on like CrossFit movements, but to gain strength in a short amount of time. Because if you just go to CrossFit 2 days a week, you might not see a movement for 6 months.
For a while.
So I did that, and I actually found that kind of utilizing that helped me now have the routine on a day-to-day basis, like, really work for me. But it did take me a lot of time to find what that balance was, because I've always been like running first. But the thing is, like this year, coming off of foot surgery, like I went to Comrades. It was a downhill year. And what I realized, like I'm on the airplane, right, 36 hours, and I had this realization. I was like, I don't think I've run that much downhill. I was like, I'm gonna die. Like this is gonna be like a full marathon at the end of 57 miles. I'm gonna be crushed. But then I realized, like, I've been lifting heavy things. Like I've been squatting heavy weight, and my legs actually felt better this time than they did just from running.
Really? Interesting.
And so I feel like it's been a trade-off because, yeah, like you can't run 120 miles a week and go to CrossFit 5 times a week.
Yeah,
but, like,
right.
Figuring out where that balance for yourself has been.
I mean, you could walk in the door 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I found that balance to really get the benefit, and more mileage isn't necessarily better for everybody. Like, you know, like I mentioned, I'm doing less mileage right now, but my endurance is great, right? Like I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Right. That's really cool.
That's
so
amazing. We have a bunch of questions here.
Yeah, we got a ton of questions from our community. We'll start with this just kind of comment from Osman. Thank you. Learning a lot, listening to Devon. Thank you for your insight, sister. You've learned how to master yourself, and now you're applying it to everything you do. Keep at it. 8 says, where's the limit? What is the longest distance that Devon wants to do?
I don't know. Like I definitely have like curiosities about like multi-day things. Like
sure.
I would love to run the whole TRT. Maybe
that's the Tahoe
Rim
Rim Trail.
Yeah.
And how long is that? That's like 150 miles.
I think it's like 165.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I'm interested in that, but I'm not necessarily like I want to go out and crush an FKT. Like I've done FKT stuff, and it's hard. I definitely like. Actually, I just. From September to like mid-October, I did 4 races. I did 100K, a half marathon, and 2 marathons in 7 weeks.
Wow.
And I love that type of thing where you're like trying to figure out like the rest and recovery and like, you know, like trying to find that sweet spot where you can actually like do it well. And I don't think I mastered it, but I still have that curiosity of like, could I do like, I don't know, like after watching New York, I was like, ooh, I want to do all the majors in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like 3 marathons in a row in the spring and then 3 marathons in a row in the fall.
Right.
And I love that kind of thing.
Yeah. Those types of limits are fun. Yeah, that's cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Maybe this one.
Sure.
Yeah. So GDK Mouse asks, thinking about doing a 50K or 100K next year on the trails, how would you approach doing it compared to road marathons? She's done 3 road marathons this past year, right? So she's got some running in her legs.
You know, my perspective for a first time is going with the perspective of learning, right? I didn't know anything about trail running when I did my first 50K. All I knew was amazing aid station snacks, and you got to walk. Right. And I really liked that idea. And I didn't go in with like a...
Walking wasn't quitting.
I was like, I literally got passed by somebody walking uphill. I was like trying to run, and Connie Gardner came by me like power hiking. I was like, I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a big misconception that like you have to run just heaps and heaps of miles to run ultra distance. Like the reality is, like if you look at the top 10 at Western states for women, like I know all the women, like the range of mileage is like that people run in training for even 100 miles. It's like 60 miles to 120 miles, right? So for me,
it's a big range.
It's like a lot of the difference in distance is actually in your brain. Like just like I can't comprehend running that far, and so it's like it's not actually in the training, right? Like you actually do yourself a big disservice by trying to like run 40 miles before 100K. When I did my first 100K, I had only run a 50K. Like I had not run a single step over 50K.
Interesting.
I love that.
Wow. And so is it mostly like base mileage, or the fact that you have a base of like those longer runs and a mental game, a nutrition game?
Yeah, I mean, I think most marathoners could pretty easily complete a 50K off of their marathon training.
Yep.
I think you are helped if you nail all the other aspects of it, like practicing with a pack, being able to eat a lot, like just time on your feet kind of things. Those are the differences.
Yeah.
I mean, once you go to the 50-mile, 100K, 100-mile distance, there is nuance, but it's still like, you don't just need to pile on more miles to run farther.
Right.
I love that.
Incredible.
Aaron, I'm taking up all the time. Do you want to ask a question?
I actually like this one right here. This the actual injury versus.
Oh, nice. I was on the same page.
Yeah. So Aaron Mondello is asking about, how do you know when something's an actual injury versus, it's just some pain and you need to push through it, especially when you're doing these longer distances, these harder trainings, high mileage, where you're going to have, things crop up.
Yeah, I mean, having come off a very long foot saga. Actually, Nate, the last time I think I saw you, I had like it was literally, I remember running to and from your class and finishing that run and being like, I think there's something wrong with my foot. And honestly, for me, it's like, if it doesn't change after a couple, like if you give it rest, right? Okay, so my foot hurt. So I was like, it hurt enough that I was like, I'm not going to get up tomorrow morning and run. I gave it a couple days, saw how it felt. Like, it hadn't resolved, so I am very proactive. Like, if I have some crazy pain that just manifests out of nowhere, like, I do not mind going to the doctor and being like, am I crazy? Is this in my head? And the whole foot thing took 2 years to resolve for a lot of reasons. And like, when it comes to the question of pain, so I resolved the initial injury, but in the healing process, we were doing a lot of force of dorsiflexion because I had lost the dorsiflexion, and that actually ended up breaking my calcaneus in one place where it wasn't. I had a tarsal coalition, so two bones were connected, so it broke that, but the pressure also just broke my entire calcaneus. So I went to the doctor.
Sorry, just to be clear, you were doing dorsiflexion as a PT, as an exercise, and because you put enough pressure on there, you actually broke
the calcaneus.
The calcaneus, right? Like that's the one, like the floating kind of bone you see in the.
So it's your heel bone. So it's like.
Oh, okay. It's a different one.
If you think of the top part of your calcaneus, it's called the anterior process. I snapped that completely across. And so I went to the, I was literally like making coffee and it just popped. Like I had just been putting so much pressure on there, it just basically annihilated the bone. So I went to the doctor. They did not see the break on the x-ray. I don't know how. I've seen it. Anybody can see it. And they're like, so you broke your tarsal coalition. That was a good thing. It's probably what caused the problem. Like, you're good to go. You'll probably have some pain, right?
Yeah.
And so in my mind, it was just pain. Like, I had been told by somebody
professionals,
teaches people about this, that it was pain. And so for me, pain is like how I deal with pain. I was not injuring myself. I was just handling pain, right? Like arthritis type pain. But the thing is like once I found out that it was broken, I couldn't hold on to that perspective because I was like, no, literally, like my whole foot could just like at any second fall apart, and I could be like have a bone sticking out the side of my foot. So I think the difference. I mean, I always err on the side of caution. Like, I'm generally this foot injury is the only major injury that I've had. But I generally tend to be somebody who's like, this doesn't feel right. Even if I start feeling something that's like one leg, like I feel an imbalance, I start addressing that with my team of people, whoever I need to go to. I'll be like, this doesn't feel right. Let's figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good answer. I like the idea that like you give it rest, and if it hasn't improved, you need to kind of have a deeper deeper investigation on it.
And then a lot of the things we've talked about is like, rather than obviously still go to the doctor, but what are the things that you are able to do on the weekly and the daily to improve your own situation?
Yeah.
And I think can be such an empowering place, because it sucks with runners when they feel sort of disenfranchised in their own body and training. They're like,
Right.
all this crazy stuff is happening to me. I'm getting different people telling me different things, and meanwhile I'm watching my Run Fitness do this, and I just don't know what to do. That just is never fun. I want to just do a quick question, and then we gotta sign off, Devon. We could obviously keep talking here. Who is it here? So we had 2 questions around strength. I think it was Lizzie and Kelly. They were both wanting to know, how many CrossFit sessions you do a week with your running. And this could just be quick answers at like 2, 3, whatever.
I do 2 CrossFit sessions a week, and I try to go on days that are not just like rowing for the entire time.
Exactly.
Right.
More strength-based stuff, right? Because some CrossFit sessions are built to be like track workouts for non-runners, right? Where you're doing these like 30-minute extended pieces, and it's like you're already doing that outside. You don't need more of that in here.
Right.
Yeah.
My classmates tell me it's cheating when I show up and there's running. They're like, oh.
Devon's here.
They're like,
That's
maybe
funny.
you should carry one of us. But I will say I do 2 heavy days. So it's not.
Yeah.
I know a lot of runners are like afraid of barbells and weights, but I do like heavy work. Like I believe in that, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions about lifting heavy.
Yes.
But I have never felt so good in my body and in my running. So.
Dude.
Totally agree.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is, thank you. That is such a good thing. Like the idea that we should do only like PVC pipe and like rep out 20 to 50 times, and that should be it. It's there's definitely other ways to go there.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot, that the running world, can really do on the strength side.
Agreed.
So glad that you're pioneering, you're out on the edge, and we'll have to keep talking next year about your marathon prep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Guys, it is close to the hour. Devon, thank you so much for signing on and spending a whole hour with us.
Yeah, really fun.
Super appreciate your time. It was good talking to you. We can do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll catch you a little bit later.
thank you
Hey,
so much.
Devon. Yeah, where can people find you online if they wanna follow your running and your training?
I'm just on Instagram now. I ghosted Twitter and Facebook. Fast Foodie is my Instagram.
Awesome.
I'm on Strava, and I don't hide anything on Strava. I even put the little I ran 400 meters at CrossFit on there. So.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Okay, nice. So if you guys
Love it.
want to check out her training, I was doing it's fun. Good photos. Check Devon out. You can just type in her name on Strava, and definitely follow her on Instagram.
Thanks, Devon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devon.
Bye.
All right, guys. It is close to the hour here. So thank you so much for chiming in. Let's do our Gleam Link giveaway.
I know.
And we will call this show a wrap.
This was from last week.
Nice.
Edward had the idea of couldn't we have figured out how to do a bread giveaway?
Yeah, how do you ship fresh bread?
I don't know.
Although
It's
I will
a very
say
good
their
idea.
bread, I actually bought 7 loaves. We stopped by there for my my family reunion, and it lasted like
It
9
lasts
days.
for a
Yeah.
while. So we are giving away, in honor of the New York City Marathon, one of our marathon race plans.
Permanent access.
Permanent access.
Yes.
And this sucker is 16 weeks long. It includes a lot of the strength, mobility, and range of motion stuff that Devon does in the program itself. So
Right.
those of you guys who are really curious about the strength and mobility, as a CrossFit coach, that's kind of where we started.
Yep.
It's what if we were to give runners video access to this type of training and put it in. And the beauty of the marathon, and I'm just kind of saying this for you guys who are curious, most of the workouts are body weight.
Yep.
So you don't have to have barbells and equipment, but you can easily add that in. And then if you join the training club, we do have a barbell
Strength
program.
Yeah.
So we'll do our winners here. Dun, 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 dun. One lucky winner is going to get our marathon program. All right, so
Boom.
we have Cassandra Derensborg from Riverside, California. congratulations. You are the winner of our marathon program. So I'll reach out with an email, give you access to your program, and there we go.
Yeah, and guys, we'll do the drawing for the Gooder sunglasses next week. If you're watching this, you're not live, hit the
Enter
link
that
below.
sucker, right?
Yeah.
Get a fly pair of polarized, no slip, super fun sunglasses. I've really been wearing them more and more.
Yep.
I really like them.
Yeah, I wear them all the time, like I said. Pictures from this weekend, you'll see next week. Hopefully.
Yes.
The party I wasn't invited to.
Whatever. I wasn't invited to this crazy costume gala.
You are sad about that. Let me know.
I am sad about that.
All right, guys. We will, maybe we'll do a pre-show next week. Who knows?
I know.
Yeah, it's been great. We'll see you guys next week. Wait, hold on. Here comes the outro. Don't miss it.
Really helpful. And I had seen some before, but I liked that it was put into plans. And there were lots of plans. There's a 5K plan, there's a strength plan, there's a running efficiency plan, there's a half marathon, a marathon plan. And they seemed like they all went together. And so I liked that. It felt like comprehensive. So I really like that you could get everything all in one place. I think the major difference is this is more personalized. So when I have a question, I actually get my questions answered, and they're answered right away. And that's really helpful because now as I'm starting to get more serious into my training, like I'm noticing with my body, like, okay, this left hip is tight. How do I work on that? Oh, here's mobility exercises to help with that. Oh, I'm not sure how many calories I should eat. Oh, talk to Elizabeth, so it feels more supportive by having, like, if I have a question about something, I can get my question answered. If you want to get stronger, you have to do strength.